Coach, coming off a weekend split this past weekend with Western Michigan against number 10 Western Michigan. Friday night, 4-1 loss, maybe the score not quite indicative. Saturday night, your guys came out fired up, and it seemed like they played from the get-go to win that game. What kind of walk us through what your thoughts are now a couple days later?
Well, my thoughts, Wads, are that's an NCHC weekend against a really good team. We haven't done our part over the last few years in a weekend like that against a rival, a Mid-American Conference rival, an old CCHA rival. Now, the rival part, that's our responsibility. We need to do better. They have done their job in Western. We need to do better to become a rival to them, because to this point we haven't been. I thought this weekend looked like a rivalry series, two teams going nose to nose. That's what I saw. I don't want to speak for Western, but they've got a great team, and we're trying to catch them. And I like the way we played. It was a 1-0 game on Friday with 11 minutes to go in the third period. Saturday, 100% could have gone either way. There was two goal deficits that they came back on and kept pushing, which we knew they would. Both teams had 5-minute majors to kill and on the power play. So I look at it as a great weekend. I told our kids that we had 18 games guaranteed left, and I don't think we left anything on the table the way we played both nights. Do we want to execute better? Do we want to do this better, that better, with the puck, without the puck? Absolutely, always. But I thought mentally and physically we were engaged from start to finish on that weekend, and nice to see our guys get a result against a really good team.
I like the way you put it after the game, that we were just sick of losing. And there's been so many games that seem to be within reach, even late into the game, not starting the game, going into the game or whatever, but really, really late into the game, and just haven't quite got the results that you wanted. And I kind of liked that comment. Did that kind of seem like the same idea, mindset with the players?
Well, to me, 100%. I mean, unfortunately, there's been some repetitiveness in what comes out of my mouth over the last while, and I'm just trying to be as real with it as possible. I think we've played better hockey than our league record indicates. However, that's a full marks to our opponent every single time. I think of the 4 games at home against Colorado College and Duluth, and how those looked. I think about the 2 games at St. Cloud, the 2 games at North Dakota. Our guys, everyone's sick of losing. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and it weighs on you. And to see our guys stay together through adversity, through ups and downs in a game, then to see your goaltender go down, who had played as well as he'd played. I don't see, Wads, how that can't give us a little bit of momentum, just internally, just to feel good about what we're doing or what we're trying to do. And when we do things right, we give ourselves a chance. So I definitely think that was the feeling. And after the game, we talked about that. The last couple of days we've rested. The first couple of days of the week we rested, and the last couple of days we've prepared. And we'll get on the plane tomorrow and go and hopefully play well this weekend.
Thought both games, Friday and Saturday, intense, a lot of physicality. But on Saturday, it seemed like, we've talked multiple times this season about throwing pucks on net. When you get the puck on net, good things happen. Yeah. And Moulton's goal, a minute after they score, is a pretty good example of that. And then that's how you kind of solve the goalie. I know there's no magic answer, but how do you sort of bottle that and reuse that again next weekend?
Well, all we can do, Drew, as coaches, is emphasize and re-emphasize putting pucks to the other team's net, because the winning goal that night was the same thing. Blake Messenberg shot that puck from the corner, and we all know how good their Western's goalie is, just like Colorado College's goalie is really, really good. But again, that's what we're telling these guys. Everybody we play is really good. They've got really good players. They've got really good goalies. They've got really good special teams. I mean, we might as well hit play, record and play on the tape, But what we're trying to get them to do is realize just that. No matter who you're playing against, Throwing a puck at the other team's net is what we control. That has nothing to do with them. So let's get pucks there. Let's get people there. And here's another example of good things happening when we do that. So that's what it is. It's all part of this this coaching staff trying to implement what we're trying to do here. Trust in what we're telling you. And what we're telling you is put pucks and people towards the other team's net and good things will happen. What helps that trust, Drew, is when results come. Dylan Moulton's shot, Blake Messenberg's shot, and good things happen when that happen, when they put pucks towards the net. So that's what we're doing. We're reinforcing it.
You mentioned putting bodies there too, and both of those helped by getting traffic in front of the net, both your guys and their guys, and the goalie just hard to see it. So is that a matter of just winning those battles and driving to the net?
Yeah, yes. But when you watch the tape, even on Friday, a lot of times you need a little bit of luck there too. Those pucks have to have eyes and get through because so many teams are good at blocking shots, man. I mean, we blocked a bunch of shots on Saturday, so I don't want to not say that. But watching the tape of our Colorado College series, there's always somebody in front of the net. Watching Friday night's game against Western, there's always a bunch of bodies in front of the net. So we're trying to have just a little bit more purpose. Don't stand there let's have one guy there, one guy off to the side, however we want to do it. But have purpose to what you're doing, because usually there's going to be a checker beside you too. So there's 4 legs right there. So you got to get a little fortunate and have your head up as the shooter. But don't let that deter you from putting pucks there. Don't let that deter you for a guy without the puck to get to that area, because that's the area where good things are happening.
You mentioned blocking the shots. I think it was 25 on Saturday night. Clement had a bunch of them. I think Moulton had a few.
Yeah.
You had forwards blocking them as well. What does that do for the mindset of the goalie, and how were they able to block so many out in front?
Well, I think that the mindset is we're playing for each other. That's what the mindset is, and Logan or Bruno or Carter are putting themselves in front of those shots as the goaltender, but to see your teammates sacrificing themselves, whether it's 5-on-5 or 4-on-5. I mean, obviously we were shorthanded 8 times on Saturday, and that included a 5-minute major. You're going to get shot blocks, but you don't have to. You still have to be willing to stand in front of the other team or the other player as he's shooting the puck, and our guys are 100% willing to do that. I think, Drew, in my experience, the more engaged we are, the more shots we block. That's what I think. The higher our battle level, the more shots we block. And Saturday night was a prime example of that.
And a team effort. So many different players had blocked shots. And then you mentioned both Logan and Bruno. Unfortunately, Logan went down in the game. Bruno had to step in. What's it like for a goalie to have to come in cold like that? There's a difference between maybe when you're losing a game and you're like, okay, we're going to put you in, and then coming in when you've got a lead.
And you know what else was they were on the power play. Like, if you think about it, they scored a goal, we took a penalty, and Logan Neaton went down all in the same play. You'd have to ask him. I think we all know goaltenders are a little bit. You just stand in front of a puck coming at you 100 miles an hour. You have to either be very courageous or whatever. But I think Bruno would answer it better. But he is definitely somebody that has built up. He's worked to get the confidence that he has right now. It's been a long season for him physically. He dealt with the eligibility issue early. Then he dealt with getting banged up a little bit, and I think he's in a good place mentally. So that's what we saw. Now, I don't care any of that. That still takes a pretty gutsy effort for him to step in there. That point of the game, 1-goal game, down a man. And the other piece, he's still trying to create confidence in his teammates. He's got the confidence in his own game, but I think a goaltender wants to feel like the team is confident in front of him. And he's only played 2 games. So, I think it said a whole lot about the boy. Personally, I think it said a lot about Bruno as a human being, and he went in there and did great, which says a lot about him as a goaltender.
Totally agree with you about goaltenders. My daughter's a lacrosse goaltender, so I know they're a little
That's
wacky.
worse because they don't wear gear.
Oh, man. I've seen the bruises, trust me. Heading to Colorado Springs this weekend. Colorado College, you had a chance to play them earlier here this year. So what do you see with them at this point of the season now? Obviously a team on the upswing overall.
No, I that's what I see. I see a team whose confidence is growing all the time. 2 weeks ago, they were in Minnesota and went nose to nose with, the Minnesota Gophers, who we all know is a big-time team. They had a great series at Duluth last weekend that either game could have went either way. Their confidence is something they've earned. They've got really good players. They're young. They're hungry. They're, again, somebody we're trying to emulate. It's going to be a tough series. Now, what we're trying to do is control what we can, which is we'll get the travel and we'll get there, and then we'll practice for an hour tomorrow, and we'll practice for 20 minutes, 25 minutes Friday morning, and then we got to get ready to battle. Because the other thing this team does is they compete real hard, and they've got confidence against us, and they should. When we look back at some of the things jump out when we look back at that series. The first period Friday night obviously was awful, and that game basically was over. It was 1-1 after that, which usually one team takes their foot off the gas and the other puts their foot on the gas. Saturday night, I really thought it could have went either way. We had 26 chances, only we were able to score one goal. Idis Bergeron, boy, is a really good player, really good goaltender, but they've got really good players everywhere. They do. Their forwards are good. They're deep, and it's deep again. We're going to focus on ourselves, which I think we have the last couple of days. We'll prepare the group on what CC's tendencies are and the individuals they have. But this is a really good team that we're playing against. But like I say, Wads, that's going to be the next, for the rest of this year, every weekend, we're playing really good teams, and Colorado College is no different.
Hey, Ray, coming off a split this past weekend, you come back off of a win or a loss Friday night with a great effort on Saturday night, kind of a full team effort. It seemed like everybody, meaning two goaltenders and the whole team, kind of had a hand in the victory. Tell me kind of what your guys' thoughts was after the game.
Overall, like I said, it was a great team success, and we played as a team for full 60 minutes and competed for each other. Unfortunately, Needs got injured, but Bruno stepped in, and it was a great team effort for us. Great win.
When you have a situation like that, you had the lead and you have your goaltender go down, and you guys were playing great out in front of him. What's the kind of the mindset on the bench? I mean, do you rally around Bruno coming in, the backup goalie coming in?
Yeah, for sure. We just play as a team, try to block as many shots as we can, and so Bruno gets into the game, and I think he stepped in like 10 minutes before the end of the game, and he played really well for us.
The Friday night game, closer than the score would indicate, how hungry did that make you after dropping that game and the score being what it was to come in on Saturday and really kind of throw that first punch?
Of course, that's just frustrating to lose, but it was a great response, like Coach said, and this series, Friday, Saturday, should be really fun for us.
Coach has mentioned a couple of times you specifically, your leadership and your ability to help make the guys around you better. How have you been able to step in, your first year here and be able to do that so quickly?
I just feel I had experience already in college, and it wasn't really hard for me to step in. Also, boys welcomed me really well and made me feel like home, and I think that's the most important thing.
So you did start elsewhere in college, and you left and went back to junior hockey. So kind of walk us through a little bit about how that whole process has helped you at this second time now playing college hockey.
I think going back to juniors last year just helped me refresh my mind and get back to like offensive plays and stuff like that. And I came here confident, and I think that's the yeah.
And now you've got a couple of countrymen with you, Bruno being one of those guys, Rehards. How well did you know those guys before you got here? Did you have a hand in them coming here? Or did you guys all talk about coming here together?
Yeah, well, I'm really good friends with Bruno. We played hockey together growing up. I met Seema at World Juniors Championship, and that's how we got talking. But yeah, in the process, I talked to Bruno and Seema, and we came to a decision come here together.
Well, it's been a very good decision for everybody, and certainly Miami hockey as well. You got Albin Nilsson back to help out, and he'd missed him the whole first half of the season. What was it like to have him out there?
It was huge having him back. He already made an impact for us in first 2 games, so we're happy to have him back.
Looking ahead at this weekend, you've got Colorado College on the road. What do you have to do to generate that same intensity, that same effort level, and the same execution that you had on Saturday night when you take this road trip out there?
Yeah, we know Colorado College is a heavy team to play against, but we're focusing on our game. And if we play as a team for full 60 minutes, we should have a lot of success this weekend.